ones and twos. And I just come here to let y'all know it's about to get real filthy in this mother.
That's sweet.
All right, we are recording. Welcome to episode 35 of In Todd We Trust. The podcast is now available at itwtpodcast.com. We can access spoiler-free one-sentence reviews and movie ratings, episode descriptions, song of the week, as well as movie soundtrack playlists. And you can submit to be a guest on the show. Only the most special people get that privilege. You can listen to the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts on Thursdays, and then you can also watch on YouTube whenever I decide to post on YouTube. I was being pretty regularly posting on Saturday, and then I've been slacking. So
keep them on their toes.
Exactly. Yeah, you gotta keep people guessing. So and wanting more. So those go up sometime after the episode.
When I decide.
Yeah. When I so choose. So today we have Krista here. A good friend of mine, also a former manager, best manager of all time, the GOAT. I met Krista in Vegas before I even worked for her. Never forget. Her and Maddie were actually out there. Another guest on the show, earlier episode for Captain Marvel, they were both out in Vegas for work, and I was out there, and I got to meet Krista.
That was so fun.
That was a lot of fun.
I think our introduction was like, hey Todd, if you'd like, there's beverages in our hotel sink.
Yeah, right?
Our hotel sink had all this ice and bottles sitting there.
Yeah, I do remember you were hurrying to get ready, and I'm like, all right guys, I remember I had to dress up. And I looked like I was going to church, but we were going to
slash the club.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, slash the club. Same difference, but yeah, that was my initial meeting. And then once we started working together, we talked about movies all the time. You know, it was because we both had Movie Pass. R.I.P. to Movie Pass.
R.I.P. That thing was such a great idea, but no one it just couldn't ever really happen.
No,
so people jumped on and took advantage, and it was great, but no.
Yeah, it was not great for the company. It was great for us at the time when it was going. But I just remember talking about movies all the time with you. Did you ever see?
Get on that Movie Passport.
Yeah. I remember before I got it, you had it, and I had heard about it, and I was like, okay, I just wanted to get someone's cosign. Is it working? And you're like, yeah, it's awesome. So that's why I signed up for it. Did you ever see? I couldn't remember if we talked about it when you saw it. Bad Times at the El Royale.
Yes, I didn't see it in theaters. I think I saw it on a plane for.
Yeah.
But it was so fake that it was good.
Yes.
I don't know if that's a good way to describe a film. Yeah. It's none of this would ever really happen, and there's not going to be this cult following of Liam Hemsworth or something, and or secret windows in this hotel. But it was.
Yeah,
good.
that was nuts. Yeah, I just watched it for the first time this past weekend. It was one of those movies that I had on my list when I had Movie Pass and never went and saw it, and I was like, it's on HBO now. But yes, it is one of those. That's a great way to describe it. Yeah, it was just so unreal. It was good in some way.
And the hotel was split between states, right?
Yeah.
You were in one state that could gamble, and then the other state couldn't. And John Hamm, because I love John Hamm.
Yep.
Okay.
John Hamm's the man.
He is the man. Yeah. Okay.
In everything he's in. I'm gonna have you scoot up to the mic a little bit more, or
because I'm not doing this right.
Maybe move the mic closer to you.
There's two ways to go about this.
Yeah, it's I never know until afterwards, when I'm listening to the audio back, and it's sometimes you have to be closer. I don't know.
You're I didn't catch any of that.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's just me. It just sounds like a conversation between me and myself
and I.
Did you actually have a guest? But
the mysterious guest episode. It's like an episode of the Twilight Zone in here.
Right. Exactly. People think I'm going crazy. Do you still go to the theater a lot?
I love going to the theater.
Okay.
I don't know. There's something really. Phil and I actually went to the theater. My sweet husband. We rode our bikes from Ferndale to Royal Oak here in Detroit,
awesome.
And went to the theater and got done and went back home on our bike. So
that is
the process of going to the theater was fun, but I love going to the movies.
I feel like that's a perfect. I feel like everyone in Ferndale bikes to the theater.
Or everyone in Ferndale bikes.
Yeah, bikes. Yeah, that's
to
exactly.
Multiple places, the theater and others. Yeah. But Ferndale's a solid biking community, and then luckily it's not too far from Royal Oak, so there's one street to head on up.
I did get a bike, so I have been biking.
Ooh.
I have been biking quite a bit the last couple of months. I went and.
What's your head health like? Any helmet?
No helmet. I'd rather get injured falling off the bike than look lame with a helmet on. That's kind of my.
I'm like made to wear a helmet. It's
Yeah.
terrible. Yeah.
I don't know if my head is for. You know, there is a cool bike shop, Heritage Bike Shop in Chicago. They have cool helmets. I have a coffee mug from there actually, but they.
But not a helmet.
But not a helmet. Yeah.
That's a start, like coffee mug, and then like
Yeah.
move on up to like a helmet. So
Yeah.
I had this
start
like
small.
super fancy bike, which is this is a weird like real world application of barter and trade, and I won an up desk at a work networking event once in Nashville.
That's great.
And when I won it, a guy was like, "Oh, are you gonna use that? I'd buy it from you." I was like, "Oh," he's like, "Oh, I can sell you a bike." I was like, "Okay."
All
so
right.
I traded a desk that I won for like equal value in a bike. And it's like this sick bike, and they like fitted me for it.
That
Like
is
it's super
awesome.
fancy. I'm like, okay.
I traded a desk for a bike.
I
That's
know,
not the only
I-
time that'll ever happen.
I
No one's
know.
ever said that.
Well, it happened. It worked, and now I have this like sweet bike.
That's awesome.
And
I
helmet.
want a nice bike now. Now that I've like started to bike over the last couple of weeks, like the few times I rode it, now I'm like, oh, I'm like a biker now. I need to get like a more legit bike.
You're
so we can take it
hardcore.
serious. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you need like a 5-panel hat and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I have one from the ex, but that's all I got. I almost wore it today to be stupid.
That would
But,
have been great.
so song of the week. Do you have one?
I do. Oh, my song of the week. It's called "Never Know" by DLG, and it also has Mary Hiddleburn on it.
Okay.
I came across it from like the Spotify Your Weekly Playlist, new music that you would like.
Sometimes it's on spot.
Yeah,
Sometimes
this
it's
is on point. So
Okay.
I couldn't tell you the amount of times I've like had it on repeat. Like when you get your yearly like most played songs, I'm like, this is gonna be my number one because I've
Really?
played this
Okay,
a
now
disgusting
I'm gonna
amount.
check it out because you've introduced me to some great artists before. So excuse me. Most notably, who is that? The band.
Is it a female band?
Is it Jungle Giant?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, they
Yeah.
were my number one for 2018.
Oh, really?
So like this is who it's gonna be for 2019. So
Okay.
yeah, I'll get you on board right now.
Okay, yep, I'm gonna listen. My song of the week is Sophia by Clairo. Clairo I'm a huge fan of Clairo's. I actually told a story on the podcast before another episode about how I saw her live at Mopop last year. Actually, this year she's on tour with Khalid and opening for him, and she happened to be here same weekend as Mopop. She was opening for him at LCA on Sunday. And I almost went just to see her. I'm not a huge Khalid fan. He's extremely talented. I like him as a person. This music is just not for me. It's one of those deals. But she is dropping a new album this Friday.
Ooh.
I'm super excited about it. And then when she goes on solo tour, you best believe I will be there
Front row,
for a meet and greet.
VIP.
Yeah. So I'll have an engagement ring ready
To go. Good luck with that.
So I'll let you know how it
Next
goes.
special guest on the podcast.
Yes. Yeah. Could you imagine? Wow.
Yeah, let me know how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'll have to check that out. When
Please
you
do.
like check out this artist, DLG, like it's really I was slightly embarrassed when I like looked up his artist page on Spotify. I was like, this guy probably took a photo and like photoshopped sunglasses in this like streamer firecracker background. So like don't judge it.
Okay.
But he's good. So
Okay.
it's like, oh, are you making fun of this kind of thing, or are you awesome? So you found your future wife, and I found a guy who probably has like really great job in paint. So
there you go.
yeah.
Great job in paint. I because you're suggesting it, I will check it out and I'll push past his appearance and his page on Spotify.
Don't judge him.
So next we have random rapid fire questions.
Oh, great.
So no
Okay.
preparation here. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. If you were a movie star, what genre would you make?
Oh, I would make the 70s.
Okay. All right. What era would you want to live in as an actress?
As being an actress,
Yep.
I would probably still say the 70s.
70s,
yeah.
yeah.
The wardrobe is on point.
That
in
is
the
true.
70s.
Very true. Would you prefer to be on TV shows or movies?
I would prefer movies.
Okay.
I feel people won't get as tired of me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Seeing me every day,
That
I'm
is
like,
true.
no, I don't want that.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that aspect, but yeah, my answer would be movies as well.
I'm thinking of others here.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Thinking about this. Favorite actor of all time?
John Hamm. I know. Oh, God, that's so disgusting. Like, like in the sense of how great of an actor, that probably has no clout, as how much I've like gravitated to him as his character in like Mad Men as Don Draper. That's probably it. So
that's fair. I mean, you know, that's your favorite. I didn't say best, so you know, it's up to you.
Yeah, personal favorite.
That's fair. Favorite actress of all time?
Ooh, Julia Roberts. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like in their sense of being an actress and her roles and her personality, but then also like whenever you see her smile, like you want to smile because she has this like charisma to her and she's just like so loving. Like I just want to be her best friend and then watch like every film that she's in and then like watch every film she's in with her to like laugh about it. So
that's how I feel about Julie Andrews actually. I love Julie Andrews.
That's sweet.
Yeah. I don't know. But that's what I thought you were about to say, and then I was like, "Oh no, she's." I do like Julia Roberts too, though.
Okay.
Favorite soundtrack?
Oh, it is a toughie. I think my favorite soundtrack would be Does it have to be to TV or to film?
Yeah. It could be a show though.
To a show, I'd say Stranger Things.
Oh,
so
okay.
like deep cut into the 80s.
Nice,
Solid soundtracks there that they've had in this last season 3.
Okay.
For a film, I would say, man, this will sound late. Like the first thing that comes to mind is like the Leo Great Gatsby, like the music, like very like mellow and like
That was super.
I don't want to say like do homework to it, but could I like be productive at my desk and like just really stay into this? Then yes.
Lana Del Rey.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
Go to slushy flavor.
Oh, Coke mixed with cherry.
Ah, nice. Yeah. First movie you saw in theaters, if you remember.
This is gonna sound really messed up. I think I was really young, but like Fight Club. Like I like vividly remember my mom being like, "Are you okay to stay in here?" I'm like, "Yeah, Mom. Like this is fine." Like
that's great.
I probably was like 12 or something. I don't know, but yes,
okay.
Fight Club. Wasn't Disney. I know that.
Yeah, it wasn't Disney.
It was not a Disney film. This is deep cut.
Fight Club.
Yeah,
that's great.
My mom is great.
If you had to rewatch the same movie for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, I would say I found myself this summer really wanting to continuously watch 500 Days of Summer. I think it's like funny and witty. Yeah. That doesn't sound like I'm not a rom-com type of girl.
Yeah.
But
it's so offbeat though. So it's like it's almost like it's like a rom-com, but it's also just like I haven't seen a film structured like that before.
Yeah, I think that keeps me in tune with it. 500 Days of Summer is really fun. This is also going to sound really cheesy, but Pride and Prejudice with Keira Knightley.
Yeah.
God, it sounds so lame. I'm like not a rom-com girl, but
I
like
love Keira
again,
Knightley as well.
Yeah, Keira Knightley is really, really sweet.
Yeah.
Probably if it had to always be on the background, I'd put like 500 Days of Summer.
All right.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one coming. But I do like.
Like
I do like that.
Halloween.
Yeah, right. I do like that. I do like
Annabelle.
that movie. Right? Yeah. Just something like just out of the blue. Yeah, that you. Yeah, no. I hate horror, but I do love rom-coms.
I love horror.
Oh, I can't. Do you? I don't know if you do. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why when I said it, I was
yeah.
like, I feel really insulted.
I don't know who you are anymore.
Like, who am I? Yeah, times are changing.
Did you see the trailer for Tom Hanks as Mr. Rogers?
Yes. Have you? Yes, I did.
That's
it was
perfect
sweet.
casting.
It is perfect casting. The scene when they're all on the subway.
Oh yeah,
that's really, really adorable. Did you see the Mr. Rogers like docu?
So I was gonna follow up with that because I remember you saying that you liked the doc, but it wasn't like amazing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It was like a. Did I grow up on Mr. Rogers? No.
Yeah.
Do I know what that show is? And like, did I watch it? Probably. And yes, I know what the show is, but the film was just a little like, okay, you were hoping for a bit more. Like, who is this man? And like, he changed tons of kids' lives, and now people are like blaming him for like making them live an easy life, or that they're always like gratified or appreciated. But it was a good film. I'll be interested to see like how Tom Hanks portrays it, and because now it's a story of him versus like other people talking about Mr. Rogers.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I did love the doc, but background, I did grow up watching it, and I love Mr. Rogers. Like Mr. Rogers, like if I had to name like 5 idols, like he's one of them.
Really?
Yeah. So I have a Mr. Rogers mug where his cardigan changes color.
Stop
and then you
it!
can add hot water. Yeah. So I really like Mr. Rogers.
Did you guys hear that like his mom made all of his cardigans?
No.
Yeah, that's some
amazing.
Weird like IMBD fact. Like his mom did all of his cardigans.
That makes it even better.
But it's like you would know, like of course his mother made all of his cardigans.
Of course, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
That just makes sense for him. But I love him, and I love his message and his delivery of it. and just how big of a heart he had. Like, I just love everything about Mr. Rogers. So I will be going to see that. And yeah, Tom Hanks is like, he is Mr. Rogers.
Yeah,
like,
that's a great way to describe it.
Yeah, it's perfect.
The trailer is perfect. Yeah, I remember. It's also one of those trailers like when it came out, everyone like talked about it for a bit. They're like, "Oh, did you see that?" Like, it was like so heartwarming, and you're like, "Oh, like everyone will gravitate towards this type of film and this story." And like Tom Hanks is an idol,
right.
so yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that'll be a big one. And also because I think part of it is like Tom Hanks is getting older too, so it's like how long will we have Tom Hanks around, not alive, just like making movies in general. So I think that's part of it too, for me at least. Did you see the Charlie's Angels trailer? It didn't look bad.
It didn't look bad. The music was good. Yeah, that was awesome.
Kristen Stewart, I can't take seriously.
Kristen Stewart, yeah. Kristen Stewart, who is the with the B, who else is in the cast for the film?
I don't even know. Like, I mean, I saw the faces, but I was like, I don't know your faces well enough to know right off. Like, I know I've seen you before, but I don't know your name.
It's the same woman from all the singing films.
Oh,
It's perfect.
Yes.
The one who's like funny.
It's not Fat Amy, is it?
It's not her. It's the woman that's the judge.
Who was it?
The blonde hair woman.
Yes, that is her.
Judge. Yeah.
Yes, that is her.
So she's in that.
Yep, I did see her.
And her
Who's commentating
character's
with
name starts with a B. It's like, I don't want to say, it's not Billingsley, it's like something B. And then who's Charlie? The actor's name is Charlie.
The actor's name is Charlie.
He walks in at the end. He's knighted. He's in Star Trek.
Man,
the original, like the OG Star Treks.
Oh, yeah, Professor X. You're talking about, shoot. Now,
he's in all the X films.
Yeah.
And that.
Yeah, I was saying, I just completely disregard his long-standing role in Star Trek. It's
but like, he's Professor X.
Does his name have... I'm not even going to
Sir
guess.
Patrick Stewart.
Yes, there it is.
Patrick Stewart, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I knew Stewart was in there.
Yeah, I got Patrick.
And then I thought Stuart Little. First, I just was going on a tangent in my head. Sir Patrick Stewart
Little.
What do you think? Oh, before we go into this too, what do you think about Leo's philanthropy? That answers it right there.
Yeah.
That face.
I think it's like, no, there's no... I don't doubt his efforts in it. I think it's also like poorly shamed on the gentleman. Like, they always just like applaud him for like what supermodel he's dating versus like what is he doing in like our environment and our ecosystem into like civilization as a whole.
Right.
So I wish there was more like publicity and story behind it. I'm sure I can easily research it on my own, but I applaud him for doing something.
Yeah. No, I can't remember what show I was watching that like made a joke about it. Like, yeah, like, have you seen what Leo's posting? And it's like, yeah, does he actually do anything? And I don't know. I haven't done any research. Like, I'm sure he's putting actual money into it. Like, I would imagine that he's not just like, save the planet and then like going home and...
I was like a peace sign on like the back of his like Tesla. Yeah,
right. Exactly.
I feel like
good luck.
He did make a large speech about it when he won his Oscar for The Revenant. Like, there's no doubt that he is like an activist.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like Leonardo DiCaprio would be the type of person that carries around like the metal straw in his pocket.
Right.
Like, that's who he is as a person.
Exactly. Yeah. Which makes you just like roll your eyes, but it's like you actually do mean well. It's just like you're being really extra about it.
There's no doubt he's donating like millions and millions and supporting amazing causes, like not just for the environment, for like the world as a whole.
Right.
So, but
I do like Leo, but it's just funny. I always laugh. That made me laugh when that joke was made, and like I said, I was watching a show or something the other day, and they said that, and I just laughed.
That peace sign isn't on the back of his Tesla, it's on the back of his Prius.
Yeah, right, yeah, exactly. On the back of the can I see Leo driving a Prius, like a pimped out Prius?
That would be amazing.
So, I don't even know if I said we were reviewing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood yet on the episode, but, by the way, the
great
IMDb,
segue, though, from a little Leo into,
Exactly, Leo philanthropy to now Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. IMDb description, a faded television actor and his stunt double strive to achieve fame and success in the film industry during the final years of Hollywood's golden age in 1969 Los Angeles. Film came out July 26. Notable cast, obviously, like we mentioned, Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, Dakota Fanning, who looked really scary, Luke Perry, and Al Pacino. So a lot of heavy hitters. Writer and director Quentin Tarantino. Do you like Quentin Tarantino?
I do. actually learned a lot about him for this. Like,
Really?
time together, yeah.
Did you look? You researched some stuff about him, or just you learned a lot about him through watching the film?
I'd say both.
Yeah.
Like little things I didn't know about him. He's from Knoxville, Tennessee, and I was raised in Tennessee, so there's a lot of like fun. I don't say like me and like Quentin Tarantino are like tight, but so he's from Tennessee and was raised there, and then spent a lot of his like younger years in California, and that's where he like got introduced to the movie world and the stardom of it all.
Right.
And then also there's rumors that he's retiring when he's 60. Like that's what he's like publicly said.
How old is he?
He's 56 right now.
Oh, okay.
So that's why a lot of people in this film and introduction, like his 9th film, people are like, oh, is this like the 9th and final, or does like Quentin have another like 4 years to make another film, or like what would that be? So is that true?
Slated for something else. It's something else.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It's a couple things on IMDb. Like you can look it up, and it's like a couple films that I can't remember the one that stuck out, but I don't know. But yeah, he has a couple more, but we'll see. Yeah, I wonder.
But I do like him. I think he's just his telling of his story is very interesting and very, very different than anyone else. Like that's what he's known for. Like his films are beautiful, but they're so like dirty and gritty, and like he ties in with that like whole spaghetti western like blood and guts trying to like tell a story. I don't know. I love it. Like I said, I love that aspect of it, but it's just wild. He's
a hit or miss guy for me. I like some of his stuff and I appreciate some of his stuff, and then it's just I do agree that he is creative, and it's not, there's some people who I feel like are just throw a bunch of random things in a movie and it's like, ooh, he's out there, he's creative, and it's like, no, you're not, you're just throwing a lot of random things at the wall. He's not. I don't feel like he's that way. I feel like he is truly like really creative, maybe a genius in some ways.
He is. His IQ counts him as a genius.
Yeah, that doesn't shock me. Like that doesn't shock me. He definitely, the way he tells a story, especially this one, which I will talk through this movie. I think it would be good to talk through it, how I felt while watching. Yeah. Because it does take such a turn and a twist that I did not see coming. Part of that is my own ignorance of the time and the year. But I definitely didn't. The way it's phrased, the way the previews are even set up, you don't know what the movie's actually about. And it's, I mean, I'm 2 hours in before I even realized really what the movie was about. And it's like, oh, and then it clicks. Like, what? How did I not pick up on that before? But yeah, and that probably telling my age a bit. But yeah, Quentin Tarantino, obviously famous for Pulp Fiction and Inglourious Basterds, Hateful Eight, Django Unchained, and the Kill Bill series. Obviously, he's done some other things as well, tons of other things. But this is what, you know, the few that he's most famous for. The movie is 2 hours and 41 minutes, which, if you see that before, that's intimidating for me. When I saw that before the movie, that was like, oh, 2 hours and 41 minutes. Like, what are they about to be doing in here? And then as you start watching, and then like you get like an hour or so, and you're like, man, this movie's long. And like, where are we going with this thing? Like, is this? I thought it was just gonna be one of those like there is no point to the movie. It just was showing how people in Hollywood lived. Yeah. And then it was like 2 hours. Again, part of that is me just not getting the hints because I didn't know, have enough background information on the people involved and Sharon Tate. And then it clicked. Like, oh, and then like partway through the movie, I was like, oh, that's right, that is the story. So that's part of it, and the other part of it is, again, the way he told the story. Yeah. Like, he didn't set it up like
he told his own story.
It is, it really was. So it was really interesting.
What he's so known for. Like, he takes, like, facts and history and, like, all, like, Inglourious Basterds. Yeah. Like, that's a clear example of, like, he thought this was an interesting story, and he wanted to, like, make it his own. So it's, like, where do you... Like, as always people say, like, there's no, like, original thought. Like, everything's after someone else. So, like... His genius is great, but like it's all skewed off of real life and like true storytelling. So.
Yeah, like what if it went this way, or like what if I just changed these 3 details, and it's like it changed the whole story. So
and then it's all like he's such a specific type of director and filmmaker that there's no one like him. So like you're either a fan or respect him, or like you're just like not, and that's totally fair. But I think it's like really interesting the way that he takes like any story and like totally twists it and makes it his own, but people love it. Like I feel like he wouldn't be so widely respected. Like people respect him, cast members respect him, like his like starness that he has as the cast in this film, or even all the way back to Pulp Fiction, like it's insane. So people knew there was something there, and they just followed him to like the end of it all.
100%. I mean, you're not getting these names to play a movie just off, obviously, you know, I'm not going to say anyone can have a budget, but anyone can have a big budget. But I feel like to actually get these actors who don't necessarily need a big butt. Like, these actors aren't actors who are, like, scrounging for money.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like they, I feel like at this point in Brad Pitt, Leo DiCaprio's career, they're not going to take roles that they aren't fully invested in just because it's a big payday.
Exactly.
So to see them on screen, that there's like, okay, there's a reason this is being made, and this is why I'm telling myself as I'm watching the movie and not understanding the direction yet. And I'm like, and obviously at the end you realize that's a lot of misdirection in some degree. And I mean, like I said, from the trailer to the rollout of the movie to the advertising around the movie, it's a lot of misdirection. Even the description for the movie. So anyway, going into it, I didn't know what to expect. All I knew was, and I think that's what it was meant to.
So you're not like a big like cult follower?
No, yeah, right, exactly.
Okay, that's fair. Whatever, I guess that's fine.
But it's fun. So I really do. I do enjoy reading up about cults, though. Which sounds real creepy. I said that on another episode, and I don't know if I explained it well enough to where people didn't listen and go, "Okay, he's a weirdo." But it just always fascinates me when someone has an idea or someone is going in a direction that's obviously negative or detrimental even to the followers, and yet you still can convince multiple people to follow you. Like, that's always just like blowing my mind. And that's super interesting, just like the psyche behind getting people to follow. Yeah, I mean, even and that's just, obviously cults are one example where it's like, wow, why would they do that? Why would they drink poison? Things like that. Why would you go kill someone? How did you convince this person who seemed by all accounts pretty normal, had a normal upbringing, and then obviously like Charles Manson, you have like it's primarily composed of middle class, teenage to middle age, 20-year-old girls, and it's like by all accounts, if you look at their background, they're quote unquote
looking
normal.
for like a figure of someone, though,
But now you've convinced them to kill people. Like, how do you convince? So that's just interesting.
And kill like famous people, like publicly. Yeah, it's insane. I mean, the cult life and that following, it's like, it's not my life, but it's like really interesting to like read or learn about, or how, like you said, like how do you shift someone's perspective of like, this is what I want to follow and like die for. Like, this is solely what I believe, and I will do anything because I believe this one person is representative of the whole of my being. So it's insane.
That is just that is nuts. But
I mean, there's a whole like Netflix subcategory of like cults. Like, it's a cult, like there's cults about cults. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, that stuff is cults about cults. Yeah, literally. Yeah, there are like like, I don't know what they're called, if they're called copycat cults, but but basically like cults that are spurred from like, yo, look at this old cult, this was dope. Like, let's do it. Let's revive it. Yeah, right. And also, what's interesting too, I'm always typically usually scared to watch them, but movies about the occult. So then, oh man. I had to edit that out. I do that, like, so I like have these coughing fits every couple episodes. I mean, I clear my throat in the mic all the time, which I'm sure my listeners appreciate. But the occult, OCCULT, but about like when it's like devil worship or something like that, like cults around that, like that's always super scary and creepy. But that's always interesting too, of just like, what, like this is like, people are actually doing this, like somewhere, like, or
even like, where did someone get introduced to this?
Yeah,
like what is this? Like a dark alley of like Barnes and Noble, like the occult section. It's like, I'm gonna check all these books out and buy them.
Bed Bath and Beyond, the Beyond section. Yeah, like, oh, that's funny. So going into this movie, what did you know and what were you expecting?
So I knew about Sharon Tate and her poor early ending, like who she was and the Manson murders that happened. Right. So not too aware of like the Manson cult and like details of that, but aware of like what happened with Sharon Tate and the friends at that home.
Got it.
I was going in there expecting a story of her, like a tribute film to her. Like, that's not how it all came across. Like, I understand with Rick and Cliff, and like there's more to a story of it, but I knew like Sharon Tate was involved, and I guess I thought the climax of the film was leading to like her known murder or what happened to her, because they were introducing so many characters that were involved with her. But then it took like the classic Tarantino turn, and this is not what you're expecting, and I'm gonna make it my own, and I'm gonna like represent her as like an angelic creature that is like untouchable and all loved and like guiding over all of Hollywood, sitting on top of the hills, and change the story on you. So.
Yeah, that was, so I mean, like I said, me going into it, it wasn't until, so I knew the Manson murders.
Yeah.
And I knew that they murdered someone really famous. That's all I knew.
Yeah.
So going into this, I'm watching this completely like, and I didn't know Sharon Tate was in the movie. I didn't know that's who Margot Robbie. I just knew Margot Robbie was in the movie.
Yep.
Like that IMDb description is like the totality of what I knew going into it. So my experience in there was like, what is this? Where are we going with this? What is this about? What is
and I
this?
bet too, it feels like really foreign because you're like
so foreign.
It's Hollywood and it's like actresses and actors are known from the city. Like, why don't I know these people? Or like, it's not too familiar yet. But you expect it to be.
Yeah, when he said
Hollywood.
Exactly, and he says like Roman Polanski, and I'm like, okay, I know who that is. Like, Sharon Tate, like I know who that is. Like, kind of like I can't like name specific things, but like
he
I
did,
know that name.
Rosemary's Baby.
Yep. So I've seen Hulu did a series that was like remade Rosemary's Baby remade into a series. I watched that. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Again, the occult, like this is creepy, like interesting stuff.
Okay.
But that was good. It was with it was
Barnes and Nobles.
You're right. Yeah. It was who was the actress who did that? It was I think it was Zoe Saldana.
Oh.
Yeah, it was Rosemary.
Okay.
In it, I believe that was her.
She's lovely.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was who it was.
Gamora.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, so that I didn't really know what to expect. So you can imagine my confusion in the theater for like the first 2 hours until like.
And that's like a Tarantino thing, though.
Yeah.
It's like you think you know, but you have no idea.
He probably wanted like someone like me to like again like a lot of people probably. Going in, whether you're teenagers or like you're my age and not really into. I mean, I consider myself. I really enjoy watching movies, but I'm not like a film buff.
Yeah.
And that's a fine line to draw. Like when I talk to people about you have a movie podcast and they're like expecting me to know everything about like movies from like the 50s on. I'm like, oh no, like I'm not a huge film buff. Like Phil was a film buff. Like Phil knows that he brought up some movie and I've never seen that. He's like breaking down the scenes and I'm like, he's a film buff. I'm just a guy who likes talking about movies and probably more so just like talking than I do movies. But
easy conversation.
Easy conversation. So again, for that general demographic, the average person that goes that's that didn't grow up watching those movies at the time, you're gonna go and confused like I am, especially if you didn't do much research and you're just like, oh, Leo and Brad Pitt are in a movie.
Yeah,
you go see it.
But that's also like what's so great about like storytelling of a film, like in this podcast sense of like we just, like how I feel about a film and how like you, even if you were a movie buff, like did we like it or did we not like it?
Right.
Like you're gonna come to one conclusion about it, how
100%.
well you know it or how well you don't know it and just enjoy it in the movies. So,
exactly.
And at the end, like that's a great like knowledge wealth that they have of like the details and like the Coen brothers like filmography and all this jazz, but like I like it or I don't like it. So.
Right. That's what at the end of the day, with music, with anything with arts, whether it's music, movies, actual art, painting, at the end of the day, it really is just like subjective. Like,
exactly.
I like it or not, and it doesn't matter if you break all this, explanation down. Like, most of the people that you market to are going to be the average consumer.
Exactly.
Not the like super informed consumer. So
who just wants like their popcorn and their large soda before
exactly.
and like settled in some good recliners. Some Paul Glantz commercials.
Yeah. Exactly. So it was cool. I thought the integration of real Hollywood icons was really cool. I thought I do like realistic fiction.
And places too. Well, with the film, like it was such a beautiful depiction of like what Hollywood was like in the 70s era. Like the theaters. Actually, the theater that they talked about from like my homework.
Yeah.
The Beverly that they spoke of, like when Sharon Tate they go to the Mexican restaurant, like the sequence that's like all time stamped.
Yep.
Quentin Tarantino actually owns that theater
in
Hollywood, so that's his own theater,
awesome.
and he like handpicks what's played there. So they were
That's
talking
really
about
dope.
like the films that were playing at the Beverly, and now it's like Tarantino's own theater.
That's really dope. Okay,
so,
wow.
Yeah, that's like how deep he is into this world. Like he's such a like a mad film lover.
That's awesome. I mean, I always love seeing when people are like have found their thing, like the thing that they're really good at. Because I feel like every single person in the world has something that they're like uniquely
passionate
really
about.
Like really special and good at. And I think a lot of people never find out what it is, unfortunately. Like I feel like some people go a whole lifetime doing something that's not like their actual thing.
Yeah.
But like when you can see someone and be like, yeah, that's his thing.
Yeah.
Like that's his he probably doesn't even consider it work. Like that's really cool to see that. So because then they end up creating something amazing. Like people when they do something like that, whether it's like sports, arts, I don't know why it's like
cooking,
cooking.
Yeah,
it's like you can tell.
Hospitality, whatever it could be.
Whatever it is, like wow, that person's special at that thing. So that's really cool. I wonder for someone who was like really well versed in, like if someone who like grew up like in that era. Like it would be really interesting to hear their perspective of the movie and see
definitely.
what they thought. But yeah, objectively, I like kind of going into movies. Obviously, with this one, I was really in the dark. But movies in general now, I find that I enjoy it better when I don't know a lot about it. Like I won't read reviews on them. I won't know. I read the IMDb and it was like nope.
See, like I am not a terrible film. I read ahead on everything.
You read ahead?
Yeah, like we'll go into the film and I'll like read like the synopsis already online to like know what's gonna happen. Just I don't know, maybe that's selfishly like I just don't like not knowing what happens. Yeah, it like drives Phil up the wall. He's like, did you read ahead? Because I'll have like no emotion, like I expected it, and he's like, you did it. I'm like, I know I did. He's like, you totally did it.
No way.
So yeah, I'm really bad. I didn't do it for this film.
Okay,
obviously,
good,
I was like really fresh into all of it. But most of the time, if we're like starting a new series or if we're like going into a film, like do I really want to see this? And like I'll read ahead and no. But I love like the visual storytelling of it. Like that's why I love going to the films, but I just selfishly like can't not know.
That's funny. I don't know if I could do that. Yeah, I only did when I get really
so bad.
Yeah. Wow. I don't know if I. It's almost like knowing the end of
Game of Thrones.
Man, that was a game. That was a show where I was tempted to look ahead so many times that I would just get so pissed off during the series and be like, I can't believe they just killed him or her. And I want to know, like, when did the bad people die? Because I was binging it. And then I was current for season 7 and 8. I was actually watching it live. But up until then, I was just binging, seasons 1 through 6. So, but yeah, it was rough. The ranch was the turning point for me when I realized what was happening.
Oh, that's like when realized it was a cult thing?
That's when it was like cult. And it was like, someone said like...
It wasn't when the girls were like deep diving for pickles.
No. Yeah.
That was so funny. That was like little like girls like trotting across the street.
Yeah.
Like cliff. Yeah. Okay.
That was nuts. I didn't know I was like, what is their deal? Are they just like? And I thought it was just hippies. And I'm like, oh no,
that's true.
A little bit more than hippies. I was like, something they went to the ranch. I love that whole like scene. I love his integration.
That's true spot, and that owner. That's like a real life character.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So that's where like the Manson family like lived, and then the owner. George is the action. It's like George Stahl, the name of the ranch. Like that's him. He's a real life person.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know. I knew they were posted at a ranch. I didn't know that guy was actually. Yeah. That whole thing was like crazy, and then you have like Lena Dunham, who I love.
She was perfect. Like if I were to imagine her in any film, it would be like a cult character in film.
That was perfect.
That was it.
That was. I feel like her in real life is the type of person who would be. Like sucked into like she seems like so I shouldn't say sucked into a cult.
Such a compliment.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's like you seem like a solid cult follower. Yeah. What are you doing this weekend?
Exactly. I love Girls on HBO. That's like one of my favorite shows. But I'm probably about to start rewatching it actually. But love her. I think she's a great writer. But she seems like the type of person that when she believes something, like she's all in.
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it. Not, I shouldn't say a great cult follower, but I feel like whatever she believes, like there's no hesitation, there's no like whatever. If it's crazy, if it's that, she seems like an all-in person. So. And
I feel like her as a person, as an actress as well, like those worlds merge so well. Like if she's into a role, that's like who she is. Like 100%. I saw her character there on the farm, and I was like. She probably walked straight off set in that same attire, that same voice, that same attitude, and like went and lived her life and like ordered something at the coffee shop.
Yeah,
like, that's like she's so into it. Yeah.
Yeah, she's that is a really good way to put it. Yeah, she's really invested into the roles, and I feel like some actors and actresses take roles that they closely identify with to an extent, because then obviously it makes it easier to like identify and act it out, but I mean, they're attracted to that role for a reason because it reminds them of themselves a bit. I don't know, but I do like her. Dakota Fanning was like unrecognizable.
Yes, I thought the same thing. I like, knew she was on the roster of like all the performers in there, but I was like, when is she gonna show up? And when she did, I was like, this isn't her. Don't lie to me.
Crazy. That was nuts. I don't know if you've watched Euphoria at all.
I haven't yet.
Nura. I texted her about it all the time.
Yeah, okay, good. I know. She was like, I'm so deep in this Euphoria show. I'm like, what? And I just saw like a BuzzFeed post like today of like 18 like secrets of filming of Euphoria. I'm like, I gotta share it to the people that watch it. Okay, and I don't watch it. And I haven't read it yet. Read about it.
Share it with me, please. Okay. No, Nura like texts me every week and it's like, I hate this show, but like I'm invested now. So it's like
it's so deep.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's But yeah, there's a girl who's in it, Cassie, and she's one of the main characters in Euphoria. She's also one of the cult people.
Oh.
Yeah, she's like the one who kept looking out the door when, like, in George's place. But she was one. I mean, like, if you see her, you'll recognize her, really blonde girl. They all just look so dirty. Like I was like holding my breath when like Brad Pitt was walking into the house, even though I have like.
So was I. It was all true. That's why you're just like, cults are true or false. Like I don't understand.
Why can't you be dirty? Why can't you be a clean cult? Like you have to. Is that part of it? Like, is that part of the brainwashing? Like you have to be dirty. Like Well.
And like cover up lies, but they're all true, and like no one knows what's going on, and you have to be barefoot.
Barefoot.
And you have to go like dumpster diving.
Yeah.
It's a cult like criteria.
I was wondering like what is happening here? Like what like. I feel like it'd be a little easier to get away with it if you all were like clean and looked like presentable.
Yeah.
Like, you probably last a little bit longer, and people wouldn't, they're gonna suspect you.
you.
Yeah, right. So.
Did you know that Uma Thurman's daughter is in here?
No.
In this film? Yeah, her and Ethan Hawke's daughter. Her name is Maya Hawke.
What?
Is her real life name, and in the film. When we get to like the Sharon Tate final day, the team that's in the vehicle, the girl that's in the back and like drives away, that is Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke's daughter.
So
she's
so
also
came full circle, huh?
Yes,
that's
he
amazing.
did. She's also in season 3 of Stranger Things. She's
really?
the girl from the Ahoy scoop shop.
Maybe I have a lot of grievances with Stranger Things, but I know you like Stranger Things, so I will not air them out right now. I'm considering doing a Stranger Thing. I thought not anymore because it's not as fresh, but I thought about doing a season 3 recap, but then I was like, no.
Did you watch season 3? Okay,
I haven't. No, I never watched it.
It's different, but it's good.
I watched
like
the first
grown-up
season
version of. It's like more grown up. That's all.
Okay.
This is the best way I can describe it.
Okay, I have seen.
Music's solid.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Deep
I might.
cuts up in there.
I love 80s pop. That's like one of my favorite genres
of
of music. So I will check it out. I will at some point. I watched season 2 just to complain about it. Like I watched part. I didn't watch all of season 2. I watched like part of it just so I can complain about it because I got like 2 I realized I didn't like Stranger Things maybe 3 episodes into season 1. R.I.P. Barb. Barb. I'm so mad about Barb dying. That's probably one of my biggest things.
Really?
I was so pissed because she was just trying to be a good friend,
and she died.
I was so mad. Like I think I posted. Did I post on my story about like never forget Barb or something like that? Like the shirts. I'm about to order that shirt. But I was really hurt. I took that death. Really,
and she died in such a bitter way too. Like her friend was like, "I'm not going home. I'm gonna stay here with this boy."
She was trying to be a good friend and like, I was
hung out and then died. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Don't do nice things. That's basically join a cult so you don't do nice things.
That
is
don't
true.
Just
be here like Barb.
Then you have a crew with you too. So I'm with you. Join the cult or be like Barb. That should be a shirt. But yeah, the ranch I think is when things picked up too. I feel like it was very even if you knew what was happening, I feel like the movie was still like very mellow.
Yeah.
And you got to that point and then it's like he's going there, it's really intense, like the music, everyone's staring at him, like the tension was just like there, you're like, what's gonna happen next? Because even if you're familiar with the story, you're inserting a fake character. So you're like, what is he gonna do? He's liable to do anything. He punches the guy in the face, like, is the guy gonna get back? Either they gonna get in a fight, like with the
just
text
punched
guy.
him. He murdered him. Yeah, like poor guy.
Yeah, that guy. I don't know how he fixed the tire. Like after all that.
Oh yeah, well I think what was to me, because knowing some of like the true life story of like Sharon Tate and the Manson murder situation.
Yeah.
I kept watching the film like, what is this telling me? Like, this is a fake character, and this farm is real, or this ranch is real, but, like, where do I go from here? So, like, I walked away, I saw that scene, and I thought, like, how is this connecting to the final thing? And it connected in the end, but, like, out of coincidence. That's all it was. Like, Cliff wasn't to be there, or to be the person that was murdered, you know? And it just all is all, like, timing and people, so. I don't know, it's, like, very, like, Tarantino in the style of, like, it doesn't mean something now, but it ties up in the end.
Yeah.
Like, all these people vaguely know each other, and, like, I would know you, and, like, oh, I drove you to this cult house, and if I never saw you again, that's fine, but I see you, and you try to kill me. Like, what?
Yeah.
So.
That was great. I thought that was great, too, is that it wasn't like they drove to the house to find him and kill him. Because that would have seemed a little less... I don't know.
It would seem predictable.
It would seem, more predictable. So the fact that, like you said, happenstance, like, that was that's what made it like really cool and made that scene at the end like that climax was just I love that.
Yeah.
I love every part of that, like the flamethrower, it was funny, and Leo just had an interesting character throughout the whole movie. We haven't even really talked about him, but yeah, no.
Also, like with the ranch scene, and seeing like Brad Pitt like actually uses like stunt double like muscles in this, like you were like, what's he gonna do? And he like murders this gentleman, like intense.
That was crazy. That was crazy because up until that you knew he wasn't anything to mess with when he fought Bruce Lee.
Exactly. There's something there, and then like the timing was weird. Like, was that yesterday? Was that years ago?
Yeah, exactly.
So how is he now? Like, is he not as stunt double because he like sucks and he like can't perform? And then you see him actually like stand up for himself. He can't mess with him. Yeah, no,
I didn't. When I saw him throw Bruce Lee into that car, I was like, okay, this guy is not to be toyed with. And I was like, it made me think too. Like, I wonder if Bruce Lee and like, Jet Li or like Jackie Chan, some of these famous like martial artists who are also actors, if they are actually like really good martial artists, or like if that is like they would get like obviously to us they're amazing, but like would they get washed by like martial artists who are like just doing that full time and not acting?
Yeah. So apparently in the era that this film was like filmed in, the 70s, like that became like the kung fu era. So all those martial artists, like the whole, like you'd go to a film and it was all kung fu films. Like that's what became popular at the time. And Bruce Lee actually taught, there's like a segment in this film that he's teaching Sharon Tate.
Yeah,
like that. Like that's what he was hired for originally, and then became so great at it, then got introduced into films, and then like died right before his like first feature film. Yeah. So and like he was applauded for it. They were all applauded for it, but it was like a short-lived era in Hollywood.
Right. Oh, that's interesting. That explains why my dad and people of his age love kung fu films, and I grew up watching them too because it's like he loved them, so then we go to the theater to see them and stuff like that. That makes sense that they became popular then when he was a child. So I thought that I always loved too how like older movies are always filmed with like this filter of like this orangish tint, this yellow tint, and then like movies in the future have this like blue tint or like they're really dark and it's like dismal because a lot of movies in the future for whatever reason it's like apocalyptic
and gray just like boring.
Always it's like it's funny how that always happens to be like whenever I picture the past I'll just picture everything like looking like this curtain that's behind us like
solid mustard. The past is mustard.
The past is mustard. That's great.
That's like a solid piece of the film. Like it had like a, if it did or if it didn't, like the coloring to it was really great of like the time, like something like was like classic but like cherished still, like you think it's like dim from like weathering or something like that, or like icons that have been like loved and cherished and it's just like used over and over, so there's like a gray tint or like a yellow haze to it, so.
Right. Wow, the analysis here.
Wait till we get into the title of the film.
Right, yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. We didn't even... Maybe we should start... No, we'll end it with that. Rick Dalton. Rick Dalton, he became lovable because you realize how much of a mess he was off screen, in my opinion. His stuttering. Like, I think... Did they do that to highlight just how insecure and, like, how much of a normal guy he was?
I don't even think... Like, would that... count him for a normal guy? I don't know. Like I felt like it.
Or just
insecure,
make him,
yes. Like second guess himself all the time. Yeah. He was like never. He played like a not so confident, someone that's supposed to be confident, like Western gentleman, and so he just like didn't know what to do with himself.
Right.
But he tried. I think my favorite like moment. It's like such a deep cut. It's really weird when him and Cliff leave that first restaurant that they're in. That film producer wants to have Rick go to all the Italian films.
Yep.
And he's outside the restaurant, he's like crying his eyes out, and Cliff is like holding him. And the marquee that's behind them, I don't know if you can see it, but the only words that are shown on the marquee say oldest in Hollywood, because it's referring to the restaurant.
Yeah.
But then like Rick is actually talking, he's like, I'm washed up, I'm so old. I'm like, God, that's such like a Tarantino thing. Like the surroundings to it and like the placement, like it's done, it's so subtle, but it's done on purpose. Oh my gosh, it was beautiful.
That's awesome.
I like summed him up, like he feels like a has-been, and he like will portray himself as a has-been, but
Yep.
he's not. Like he's
not, yeah.
known and he's classic.
Yeah, that is awesome. I didn't notice that, but there are like little pieces like that around the movie where you're like, oh, well, that's kind of cool. That like I see what you're doing there.
Yeah.
I always thought it was like kind of cool when you see like a movie about an actor, like an actor playing an actor in a movie. Like that always, I don't know why that always like tripped me out growing up. But
I think like again, it's like a Tarantino thing. Like he likes to see people like put so many layers or like work so hard to like put something else on. But Leonardo DiCaprio does that like quite a bit, I feel like.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he's very good at that. And this most touching scene in the movie to me is like when and funny, like it's they try to make it like emotional, but it's hilarious. Is when the girl goes up to him and is like, "That's the best acting I've ever seen."
Yes, that little girl, and he like pushes her to the ground. He's like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "I have these pads on." Yeah.
And he starts crying on set, and I just was like cracking up of just showing.
That's like his moment.
Yeah, his moment of
it.
shine. It's like, wow, you're like really that insecure that like. That just changed your whole
life.
Yeah.
You're gonna go fly to Italy and you're gonna find a wife and like change your world around and then.
That was amazing. Yeah. Like that gave him all the confidence in the world. But I mean, I do imagine that, and obviously there's like points where you're just like, man, this guy's like an a-hole. Like when he's cussing them out, like in the car, and I thought like he was about to be Dunzo when he like ran out to the car at the, when they came to murder.
When they came to murder.
Yeah, when they came.
But I think it just like shows his like, in the beginning he was calm, had the stutter, really like. Not collected, but like he knew who he was and he liked what he was doing. Could he do more? Yes, but he was just like happy. He owned property in Hollywood that he always talked about. He was like living a life. His parking spot was his own base. Like he was proud of something and he liked it. And he like didn't. I guess he like didn't put too much effort in because he couldn't like over that peak for it, and he was happy where he was. And then he like does one great scene and it builds momentum, and then he like goes to Italy and does like 7 spaghetti westerns, and like finds a beautiful Italian wife and comes back and like leaves his like bodyguard / stunt double / like handyman and like
everything
starts new because it's like a boost of confidence. It was a little wild, but his characters is interesting to watch, like overcome all of that. And
I wonder like. You can't help but for your ego to get to a point where it's just like unbelievable at that point. Like if everyone's telling you you're amazing. Like I think sometimes, myself included, we'll look at some stars and then judge them for being super like egocentric, and you really think about it. How tough would it be to be humble in some of these people? Like imagine like Beyonce trying to be humble. Like you go to something and someone's like, "You're amazing." Like in your head you're like, "Yeah, no, I'm amazing." Like right, but like you have to play it like down.
Yeah, like you did when people were trying to take your photo. Like like what celebrity are you? It's like I do this cool podcast. That is true. True story. In real life.
We were just taking a picture outside the studio and someone's like, "Oh, so who are you all?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm no one famous." Sure enough, a guy comes up and wants to take a picture with us. So, we're at 35 episodes in. That's what it took, and now I'm a star. So expect to see me in some movies soon, and then reviewing my own movies. That'll be great.
That'll be like a deep cut to like in Todd We Trust about doing all the filming like of yours. Yeah.
Oh man, can you imagine like a movie made about me doing the podcast? That would be a really boring.
It'll
movie,
happen.
But yeah.
I'll read ahead, but I'm sure.
Read ahead. You'll know the ending. Cliff. So, what did you think about Cliff's character?
I like. You had to adore him. Like he was. Like 55-year-old like Brad Pitt is.
It's crazy. He's 55. Man.
It's insane. Yeah. There's like deep cuts and like memes about the, and memes and gifs of like the shirt scene on the roof.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it like compares like this film to like his very very first film that he did, and you're like, who like no one's older.
Yeah.
But he was like a great hype man. That's all he was. He was like an incredible bodyguard. His attitude was on point the whole time. He like never like faltered.
He's a cool customer.
Exactly.
Brad Pitt's so cool, man.
Like I was never nervous for him because he always had it together. Like when he walked into the house with Dakota Fanning and like the cult worship life, like he played it cool as a cucumber the entire time. So and then he came out and he like changed his tire in probably 10 seconds flat and left and like didn't lose it at all. So, and then like beat Bruce Lee up. There's that whole like weird rumor about his wife, but when someone questions him about it, he doesn't like acknowledge it. Like he's not going to give someone the satisfaction of like faltering his own coolness. Yeah. So like he was the coolest, one of the coolest characters ever. He has to be like through a movie through and through without. And
ever
it was like perfect for Brad Pitt. Like the two of them equally played like great like representations of themselves.
100%. Like, I mean, even at the end when he's literally gunning his face, and like he just goes, and then the dog comes up and just like demolishes the dog took the show. Like
exactly. I was like waiting for this. Okay, yeah. Besides, Cliff / Brad Pitt, amazing personality the entire way, and the way they held it together, like, just cool. That's the only way to describe him.
He didn't hesitate. I mean, the gun is in his face, and he's just like still tripping, and then it's just like, all right, like playtime's over, like now time to beat you up, and it's just that was amazing. It's
like you kind of wish there was a bit more. The area I wish there was more attention to was like his drive for something more. Like Rick was always like, oh, like this stunt guy is the brother of the producer or something. Like, I'm sorry, man. Like, I don't know. Like, get more respect from your friend of like placing you in something, or like stand up that you should be this person. Yeah. So I couldn't tell if he was just like way too cool, like, and didn't care, or and like took what was handed to him, or should have like shown himself up a bit more, because he was an incredible stuntman. Like the things that he did, it was insane. So
I did a little research on that too, as far as stuntmen, because I didn't realize that. I mean, I never really put any thought into it, but how stuntmen didn't get paid that much.
Really?
And if you're setting me on fire, like I better be getting paid. But yeah, on average, they don't get paid very much. Per movie or per year even if they're on set. So, because I thought I was watching this, I was like, maybe that was the error, and maybe now they're getting paid a lot more. But no, like that, like the average stuntman doesn't get paid much.
It's like you just get like a good credit for being someone's like doppelganger.
I guess so. Yeah. So I'm like, you're not like beating me up, and I'm not getting paid like a good salary. Like, I'm sorry, like, but yeah, he was like the disparity between him and Rick was just like crazy as far as like pay and where he was living. But I was expecting something else, like he gets more respect, or we find out that he has like some offshore account like this whole time, and he's like really like a millionaire, but decides to live a humble life. Like that's just what I assumed, but we never got that. But again, that wasn't the focus. But I was happy to see that he never lost. Like he never faltered. He never, even at the end, like where I thought he was dead, like I was thinking like, oh, this is gonna end with like them killing them, and then they end up like, because obviously.
Or I thought he would like lose it when like Rick was like, oh, like this is our time, like this is our last night. Like I thought it would like he would be more sad at dinner. They were both like really happy. Like he kept it cool the whole time.
Yeah, he was like good plan.
Yeah, like, okay, we'll talk about this later.
Yeah.
It was weird, but that was the one thing. I wish he like stood up more for like who he was, or like what he had to bring to the table and his personality. But he just like truly was content with his like dog and his cool trailer at the drive-in.
Exactly. Yeah, I thought it was a perfect character. Do you have Callie trained to attack people?
Oh my gosh, I wish. She would never. Callie's like a terrible guard of anything.
She runs and like licks them?
Yeah, she will. She'll be like, oh, I have a new friend. Mom, look at this cult follower. Right. Yeah, welcome home.
Oh, that's amazing. Wait, who was it that came to Sharon Tate's house? The creepy guy who came like looking for another family and then like walked away?
That was him.
Was that Charles Manson?
Yep.
Okay.
That was Charles Manson.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
And so from that, I can't tell you if it's like a true statement that the family that lived in Sharon Tate's home before were friends of his, but that's what like Manson took as the message back to his clan, like, you must like clean out this house, this is the address. And then in the vehicle, the new Quentin story was like, we have to kill those that taught us how to kill. Yeah. So they went after like Rick, and then ran into Brandy, and then just were flamethrowed. Yeah, is that a thing?
Flamethrowed, I like that. Okay. That was amazing. Yeah, the flamethrower thing.
That was so classic.
That was an amazing scene. Sharon Tate, so Margot Robbie, that was amazing.
She was so lovely.
She was. And she's just beautiful, and it's hard not to like Margot Robbie and whatever she's in, even if she's not like playing an amazing, like even if she's not doing an amazing job acting. She's a good actress, but she's not like, to me, she's not an actress that I go like, she's just doing an amazing job. It's just like your role just like fits you perfectly. Yeah, if that makes sense.
It does.
But but her in this, and like her being impressed with herself like in the theater, and
that people were impressed with her.
Yeah. Like she was just so happy with how her reception in the theater, and it just was so innocent, and that just was like, it made her seem simple.
Yeah. Like, she was so like happy that like she was making others happy.
Right.
And then her, apparently in the, I always read the IMDb facts on like any film, And her sister, like Sharon Tate's true life sister, reviewed the film with Quentin and was like, I approve your portrayal of my sister. And
Always
this is like
that,
truly what she was like an angelic figure that was nothing but like radiant and happy and like a sweet woman. So.
That's awesome. I love when the family gives their like cosign for a film.
Yeah.
Especially like when it's like, someone trying to get money, when it's like his like third cousin twice removed has issues with the film, and you're like, all right, whatever. But when it's like a sister, a mother, things like that, children, I always love when they're like, that's who I remember them as.
Yeah.
Like I know like Bohemian Rhapsody, a good example.
Yeah.
Freddie Mercury's, I think it was his sister, was like, that's my Freddie. Like that is like how I remember him. So that was that's always like touching to hear. Like I couldn't imagine like watching a film of like one of my family members portrayed by someone like that.
And you not resonating with it.
Yeah, like that would be crazy. But yeah, that was cool.
She was very, like you said, like super sweet about it, and like just so like you wanted to like gravitate towards her with anything. Like, and then a little too trusting. I felt like giving a hippie a ride. But I think I know that was like the era and what everyone did. But I applaud her. She was so sweet.
Yeah, that was I loved the ending. So the name of the film. What do you have for us?
I think like
Movie Insider.
I adored the title prior to watching the film. Like anything about like Hollywood, California, like it's a sweet, sweet time representation. And with Quentin Tarantino as a director, like this is going to be a great cast, great story.
Right.
And then after I watched it, as like I understand the title now, it was what could have been.
Right.
Like it was a fairy tale story for Sharon Tate and her like her life that could have been from what never happened. So,
right.
Yeah, it was wild. Like when I finished it, I like had this moment like I get it now.
Yeah.
So
I love the ending when it's all said and done, and then she's like, "Hey, do you want to like come up for some drinks?" And it's like again going on to that point of like, this is how it would have gone if she would have lived, and it would have been, she would have gone on, had kids, like that does kind of like if you kind of feel that like wow. Like,
and then
she had that chance, but
from like the like Rick character like wanting that appreciation from like known people, and like he always commented that like, oh, like they're my neighbors, and like, oh, like this is the first time I've ever seen them in months, and like now to like be invited up for a drink, but like through this like godly voice that's like coming through a speaker that like lives on the Hollywood Hills, like it means everything. So yeah, everyone kind of got like a great ending for themselves in a sense. Yeah. Except for like Cliff is in the hospital.
Right. You're right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. He ended up. That's right. He did end up in the hospital. He did get stabbed. That's right. But yeah, that was awesome.
What did you think about it? The title, like, did it like?
Yes, I did think about it. Yeah, it did click afterwards. It was like Once Upon a Time. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, so it's a story about because. To going into it, it's just like, oh, this is just an ambiguous film about Hollywood,
and that's what it felt like.
And then that's exactly how it was directed, and it was like, oh, but then there's also like this true fact in here, but like that's not the whole film. Like it wasn't a documentary, it wasn't a remaking or a reenactment of what happened in the story. And it's like, oh, Sharon Tate dies, and then we all like are sad at the end of the movie. This is a story about Hollywood. Oh, this also happened in 1969. That's how it felt. So I like that. So I thought the title was perfect. I think it was fitting. One of my favorite parts also was like him like getting mad at himself. Ricky in the trailer, like when he's like pissed off that he kept messing his lines up. I love too how like again the film is so long, but they do such a great job of just taking you through like this is how an actor's day was back then. Like an average actor who's like
trying to make a name for themselves,
and they go through a whole scene and they redo it, and and you're just watching it. And as a movie, usually those scenes will be like real quick, like it'll be like maybe a minute long where he messes up and you get the gist. But it's like no, you're not gonna get the gist. You're gonna see his full day. Even if it takes an hour to get through this part, like you're gonna see his full day. So I appreciated that in the end. Going through it, I'm like, okay, where can we get past this? And like I said, it was probably 2 hours into the 2 hour before, probably hour and a half, hour 45 in when I was like, okay, I get it. I'm just appreciating the ride that we're going on here. So I did like that. I
felt like that was very like Tarantino's style. Like you're following like one character and like how they're developing. Like there are plenty of scenes of just like Sharon Tate. There are plenty of scenes of just like Cliff. There are plenty of scenes of just Rick and like what they're going through. And then when they're all like together, And then, like, Cliff and Rick, like, didn't have too many, like, speaking scenes together.
Yeah,
they rode in their
that's true.
car, just listened to music the whole time, and
Yep.
then, like, went on their separate ways or, like, asked one of the other for something. But, like,
Right.
they didn't develop together. It was, like, independently themselves going through this film.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, they didn't really have a lot of, like, you knew they were friends, but, like, they didn't have a ton of scenes
Yeah.
together.
They were just together to support each other in, like, different ways.
Yeah. One of my favorite quote from the movie was when he said, he was like it was Rick's part. It was actually Rick's part when he was like the bad guy, obviously, and had the girl in his lab with the gun to her head. And he was like, "They can only hang me twice." And, like, that's my new favorite saying. Like, whenever I do something wrong, it's gonna be like, "Hey, they can only hang me twice." That was always my philosophy. Not those words exactly, but
It's a good, like, cult subline.
yeah, right. Exactly. Like when I did something like stupid or anything, or like in school, it's like, hey, like, I can only get in trouble. Like, you're in school, you get like detention.
Yeah,
Like,
what else
I'm
are you
not
gonna
supposed to
do?
make this day like crazy because I can only get one detention. Like, so, but no, I love that saying.
That's a good
One insertion that I did like is I thought was interesting when the narrator said Rick and Cliff drank so much that they took a cab home that night. That obviously that they went like their final hurrah or whatever. And I think that just was such a huge statement because of how just showcasing how drinking and driving back then. Again, I know this wasn't like a PSA. Like, that's not why this movie was made. And I don't know if Quentin Tarantino had that line in there for this reason, but it just made me think like, wow, like, that's a big, like, right now that wouldn't even be like a big statement because when you get drunk, you take a cab home, like you take an Uber home. But back then, people, drunk driving wasn't anything. Yeah, drunk driving wasn't a huge issue. Like, that's very
so wild. I didn't even realize that.
Just when he said that, like, and I don't know why. Probably because I was everyone's DD in college because I didn't drink. So it just made me think. But he was like, yeah, they were so drunk they had to take a cab home. And I was like, yeah, that's what everyone does. But I'm like, oh no, back then that's right. Like,
Or also, it's like, that's a great, like, way to look at it. I also look at it as like, oh, so then Cliff actually, like, partook, like, because he was always driving.
Yeah, he was always the overseer. Yeah.
Yeah, because
watching over. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
So it worked like both ways. They both like realized they needed something more.
Yeah, when obviously the narrator was only in at certain points, so then it's like every single time he talked, I was like paying close attention to what he said because I'm like there has to be a reason why. Like, he had like 5 lines, so it's like there has to be a reason for it. So
who was the narrator?
I don't know.
I was slightly disappointed. Was not Samuel L. Jackson because he's like always in some Tarantino thing and like a great narrator.
Yeah, why didn't he do that? It must be a reason. Because I'm sure that had to. Yeah, it had to be because that had to be the first thing he thought of. But overall, I did enjoy the film. Do you have you ever watched BoJack Horseman on Netflix?
I've watched probably like 2 or 3 episodes.
Okay,
but,
I
like,
love
I'm
BoJack
not deep
Horseman.
in it.
It's like an animated version of. It's kind of like they take a lot from Mad Men, a bit
really?
of kind of just like the troubled like past, but then it's kind of reminded me of this like BoJack Man is a washed. It sounds funny because it's a cartoon. He's a washed up horse who is an actor. He's a childhood actor on a show that was basically Fresh Prince, and that's who. And he was Will basically in Fresh Prince, and then is now washed up and is like living off of that role. But it kind of had some aspects that like made me think about this, made me think about Mad Men because he had like a trouble like past
that's
and stuff.
interesting.
So, but anyway, I thought about that watching this. And I was like, I'd watch a BoJack Man.
Yeah, so you
film.
compared Quentin Tarantino to like a great cartoon show right now.
On Netflix, yeah.
All right, nice.
So that's where Quentin. Just if anyone's curious, that's where Quentin Tarantino.
That's his
is
next
in my mind.
feature. Yeah, his 10th feature. 10th
So if you need me to be on set, just to make sure you're on track,
brand.
Q. That's what I call him, Q. But yeah, I felt like this was, this could be a risky film to make without the big names.
Oh, completely.
If you had people if you had no-name actors and actresses, or a no-name director, or first-time director or writer, this film would, I don't know if it makes it past Sundance. Like, you need the star power.
And I also feel that you need the pairing, like, it's the first pairing of Leo and Brad.
Yeah.
Like,
is this the first one?
That's how I understood it. Like, I took a deep dive into the interwebs and thought that. If someone else knows it, like, please correct me, but, like, that's what it looked like.
They were going to play together in 3rd grade, like, something
probably.
random.
They're probably, like, they're like a Mickey Mouse Club thing.
Right, yeah.
There is, from what I understood, and even when I, like, thought about it more, like, there's been plenty of, obviously, like, Tarantino and Leo.
Right.
Brad Pitt, I don't know his extent with Tarantino if there has been anything, but like I just don't think those two have been together.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's what brings such a draw to this. But also when you think of like classic Hollywood and you think of present Hollywood, like these two are icons in it. Like what other representation for it? And then to bring in like Sharon Tate's character was a fresh face in Hollywood, and like bring up like Margot Robbie, like she's been fresh relevant. Face, fresh. I would still consider her a fresh face, but like cherished and adored like Sharon Tate was. So they brought like present day characters to live not the Manson story, but a story of classic Hollywood. So.
Yeah, I thought that was amazing. I think that they like the casting was perfect, but you needed it. Like that was you needed the casting.
The dog was
make
perfect.
it. The dog was perfect. Yes, that was the best casting. So would love to meet the dog someday.
Yeah, true celeb.
Yeah. I would go to a signing of the dog, like where he just puts his like paw on.
That's exactly what I was just thinking of, like a Hollywood star of like pets. Yeah,
I would be right there.
There has to be something. It's like Toto from the has to have been a Toto from the Wizard of Oz.
100%.
I mean, Benji.
Benji.
Yeah.
They probably won't say him, but Air Bud. I want Air Bud, Beethoven.
Air Bud would be in there. All the pets from
101 Dalmatians.
101 Dalmatians, the real life one, and then not Home Alone. What's the one where like it's the cat, the golden retriever, and another pet are like lost and they find their home? It's like a classic.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Maybe a Disney thing.
I
think it's called like Home Again or something weird. Someone else listening will know.
Yeah, someone
I don't know.
Let
but
us know. Please text me when you listen. And
be like, Krista, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, call her out, and then also just give us all the famous pets that we missed.
Yes.
But yeah, what would you give this film a rating? 1 to 10.
1 to 10. I would give it a 7.
Okay.
I feel like,
I gave 7.3, so we're right.
Oh,
right
solid.
In the same area.
Yeah, I adored the cast. I adored the story. I adored like the Tarantino version of it. Like take something that's known and like make it his own and wild for it. Like there's still some crazy things. Like the whole scene of the murder. Like the woman running around with her face off. Like that's insane.
Yeah.
Like there's some deep like Tarantino like blood and gore in it.
Yeah, I did not see that coming.
Yeah, that was wild. I wasn't expecting it, but like the film was great. Like it had all the bits that made it a Tarantino film, which I love his style.
Yep.
And then the story was great and the acting was great and it just was like fun to watch. I felt like it's long in some parts. Like it is a long film, but maybe knowing like the anticipation of like, is this a Manson murder story that's being told or a different version of it? It kind of like kept me going.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, it took me through some twists and turns, but I got there.
Some twists and turns in the Hollywood Hills. Right,
literally. What was that?
Side note. Okay, the Tex, that actor, character Tex.
Yep.
If he was any other male actor, who would he be to you? Because the second I saw him and saw one line, I thought of one person.
Oh yeah, Johnny Depp.
Really?
Oh,
okay. I think that's interesting. I thought Adam Driver. I thought he was a skinny Adam Driver. Oh,
yeah. Yes. And I feel like Adam Driver could play that part.
I know. I was like, Adam if you're trying to be Adam Driver, like, I don't understand.
Adam Driver was probably pissed that he couldn't do that with Lena Dunham.
Exactly.
Lena Dunham probably asked for Adam Driver to be like,
And then they were like, we got this other guy.
Yeah. I thought Johnny Depp because of the grungy.
Yes, that's true.
Hat.
Yeah.
That's probably what
I didn't connect that.
But yes, Adam Driver would have, as far as his creepiness, would have been perfect for that. Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing? Like, this is like, oh, poor man's like Adam Driver, but you're not. Like, I don't understand. That's exactly what I thought of when I saw him. I was interested to get your take on him.
Yes, I could 100% see that. That's a role for, again, another guy who could be in a cult. Yeah,
Adam Driver.
He would be that role too, like the overseer. Like he's like a little step ahead of like the rest of the cult, but you're still part of the cult. Like
he's there.
Would you tell people to go see this on opening night, $5 Tuesday, Netflix, or don't watch it all?
I would say, it's so rough because like I want to support him as the artist that he is, but I'd say like $5 Tuesday would make you feel just as good.
That's what I said.
Okay.
Because opening night for me are movies that you don't want to get spoiled.
Yeah.
And this isn't a movie that like you're super scared, like I can't go on Twitter, like it's gonna get spoiled. Like Avengers Endgame, those type of movies where it was like, don't spoil it. Like you're nervous to go on
like
anything.
Like pre-buy your tickets. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Or like Game of Thrones, like you're nervous to go on Twitter after every episode if you haven't watched it yet. But for something like this, again, $5 Tuesday, or to read ahead like Krista. But yeah, I went to $5 Tuesday actually to watch it. So, but it was good. That's what I would suggest.
I was really excited to see it, like excited to talk about it. But so we went on the Friday that it opened. So.
Got it. Yeah, that's right. Yes, I remember you texted me that. And I was gonna go Sunday. And then I just kept pushing it back. Yeah, it wasn't $5. It's $6. So I was like, I'm not gonna let them rip me off.
Fair.
But and then I get free popcorn on Tuesdays, but I didn't even stand. I hate lines, so whenever there's a line, which there always is, I don't get popcorn. I hate lines. Yeah, there's only like 5 people. I can't do it.
Have you ever done the Dine-In View?
No.
What?
No, I have not done. I have been to a place that like one time like. Were we out of town and like my parents and my sister, we all did like the Dine-In View. My mom and dad like swear by it, like they'll go and do like the whole date night deal.
Ooh.
But no, I have not done the Dine-In
We
View.
do it at like the Imagine because that's like the closest theater to us.
But
so
not the cuddle chairs, right?
No,
we've
those
talked
are
about
disgusting.
that. We've talked about
gosh.
that. That's disgusting.
Those are nasty. Whoever does that, I judge you.
Yeah, I told you know what I told. I'm calling you out too on the show, Joel. He did the cuddle. He did the cuddle thing before, and I told him. Here's the funny thing. He told me while I was still at Zenith, and I said, do you not remember the conversation we had about how nasty those are? And he's like, no, I wasn't here, like, whatever. And I was like, no, like, we're not going to skate past this. That's inappropriate. That's not acceptable. So,
my first thought was that Joel's girlfriend is so lovely. But like, oh, that's like, okay, but still, it's like nasty.
Yeah. I'm calling
You don't know
her.
who's been there.
I'm blaming him. I'm not even blaming her.
He
I'm
did it to
blaming
himself.
him. Yeah. Like, yeah. Don't do that. She's more important than that, Joelle.
Treat her right. Don't treat her
exactly. I saw that's an option too on the app. You can buy your tickets on the app.
Yeah.
And for it's like loyalty, like $5 like ticket, and it's like couple. Yeah. Chair. I was like, not a chance.
But they do the Dine-In View, and we will always try to get there. I know it's like I don't want to say it's pricier because there's like a service fee,
right.
but I'm always late. So I'm just like, oh no, I can sit here and someone brings my popcorn, so I don't have to wait behind 5 people.
Imagine might be my favorite theater all time.
Paul Williams is like a legend.
It's amazing. Like if I ever like move, not if I ever, I will leave Detroit at some point. I'm gonna ask that he like, if I can franchise it or something, just so I can get like I don't enjoy other theaters now.
I go to other theaters like when I'm back in Tennessee. I'll like go to the movies with my mom. I'm like, where do I pick my seat?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we just go in. I'm like, that's not right.
Nope.
Nope. Don't want to do it. Where's my Dine-In View? Where's my $5 Tuesday?
It's insane. And they have heated seats. They're heated. The Imagine seats are heated. I accidentally used it one time, and I was like, man, it's a little toasty in here. And I was like, oh, I have the heat on. But like, name me another theater that has heated seats. Like, no.
I couldn't do it.
What movie are you looking forward to coming up?
Ooh, coming up, one that I want to see now.
Yeah.
That I haven't seen yet. That's been out. I really want to see to follow onto our cult trend. I really want to see Midsummer.
Yes.
Yes. Have you seen it?
No, I'm too scared. I mentioned that was my upcoming movie that I was excited to see like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, oh, I want to see this, but I'm too scared, so I will never. Those I read ahead.
Oh.
So those I'll go online and read.
I won't read ahead for this.
Let me know. Let me know if it's like. Let me know if I'm gonna be too shook.
Because I'll report back.
It is so interesting to me. Like it's such an interesting concept, but it's like I also don't want to be like scared to go use the restroom in my own home when it's night. Like if I'm like under the covers, like I'll sleep under the covers for the rest of the week, for the rest of the month, rest of the year. But yeah,
that's what I want to see. I know that's like going to be a really sweet like local arts theater that I see it at, but I want to see that one. That's the one I like haven't seen yet that I really want to see. What about you? What are you going to see next? Besides next, like anything that you haven't seen yet or eager to see next?
You know what, that preview for Queen and Slim looked interesting.
I haven't seen it.
It's about a black couple who they get pulled over, and you're like, the cop pulls them over, and the cop is like get out the car, and the guy's like, hey man, like can we hurry up, like it's cold, and the guy's like, what, like get on the ground. You think it's about to be the cop shoots him, but then the girl gets out of the car and it's like, hey, no, don't shoot him. And the cop turns the gun on her, so then the guy gets up, they wrestle, and then he takes the gun and shoots the cop to protect the girl. Then they're on the run. So the rest of the movie is them on the run.
Oh, wow.
From that, and like the community supporting them, but then obviously like the news like following their whole story. So it looks kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Because you watching, you're like, oh, okay, he's about to kill the kid, and like it's about to be like that type of movie. Even though it still is going to be a political movie because of what happens, but it just looked like an interesting twist.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe go see that.
Is that present day?
I think it takes place in present day.
Oh wow. Okay.
I believe so. But yeah, I saw the trailer just when I went and saw this movie. So.
Where do you watch all your trailers at? You Apple trailer dude?
No, if I see him in the theater, and then sometimes I'll let IMDb. I swear by IMDb for like everything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's fair. We'll always do like a deep dive on we'll sit, like my husband and I will sit and watch like Apple trailers for like an hour. Like we'll watch all the trailers that are on there. So it's like a favorite thing.
Yeah, I do like going through trailers. I've said this before, but I feel like in order to have like a really successful movie, all you need is one big name actor and a good trailer. Because then you get all the money there like that first weekend, and then even if it gets really bad reviews, you've already made your money back.
Have you watched Entourage?
I've seen the movie. I've never seen the show. It's on my list of shows I need to watch. I just keep like putting it off.
There's like in part of the show, there's like an incredible trailer, and the film flops.
Yeah.
And it's like introduced to Kane, and it's like, or Can, or the proper way to pronounce that.
Yeah.
And everyone like praises it, and it's like fan favorite, and everyone's like buying it, and it's selling out so much, and then all of a sudden it's like a flop, and they're like, shit.
Yeah. If I made a movie, I'm gonna do one of two things. I've said this too on the podcast. I'm either A, gonna make a passion project that I know won't make any money, but I'll be happy with it, I'll be proud of it, and it'll go at like maybe some local theaters, and that's it, and everyone likes it.
And you'll be happy.
And I'll be happy. Or B, I'll make a really crappy movie, but like star The Rock in it and have a really good trailer.
Love it. You call it like Jumanji.
And call it Jumanji, and I'll make a lot of money. Like it's that's only two routes I'd go with a movie. That's it.
Those are both solid.
Yeah, so it's like either
you'll
make
be happy
either
way.
Yeah, either way, I'll be rich or I'll be happy with what I've created. So, so yeah, that is all I have. Phil, you're next. Don't worry. I will call upon your talents.
Callie volunteers a tribute.
Yes. Obviously Callie. So I'm sorry, Phil. Callie's next, and then Phil.
Yeah, that's a better way to say it.
Shout outs to the fam. Thank you for coming up here, Krista.
Yeah, this has been great.
Yeah, this was a great conversation. I'm glad. I feel like this was like the perfect film for you. I was trying to figure out the perfect film to ask you to be on, because I knew it had to be like a film.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I'm not gonna have like Krista come up here for like Godzilla. Like it just wouldn't have been fitting. Shout out to Dre though for coming up here for Godzilla, but
I would have liked it just as much. Don't worry. I would have watched it. I would have adored it. I would not have read ahead. It would have been good.
This was perfect.
Yeah.
So.
And also, did you know that it's a wild sentiment like that I was born in California?
I did. Yes.
Yeah. So I was like, oh yeah, like a little like California love for all this.
Yes. Oh, that's right. I didn't think about that when asking you about it, but yes, that's right.
And our dog is Callie.
It's just all full circle. It's perfect.
It was meant to be. It was good.
Well, thank you for coming up here.
Thanks for having
and that
me.
is all I have. Thank you all for listening. Until next week, peace out.